is to obtain better and faster control of major bleeding and to reduce unnecessary transfusions, thereby improving patient safety and decreasing healthcare costs. So at least 40% of transfusions are unnecessary. There are actually studies that show the rate of unnecessary transfusion is as high as 59%. This happens because during major bleeding, doctors do not have tests available that can give them sufficient information to make good decisions about what to transfuse. And we know from multiple studies that have been done that if you can decrease transfusions, you actually improve patient outcomes and decrease hospital costs. This is a photo of our actual automated prototype. This is the disposable cartridge, which at scale has a 73% profit margin. We want to replace the top of the slide where a tube of blood goes to a lab or more than one tube. Lots of people have to interact. Test results can take an hour or more to come back. With our fully automated system, this is done at the bedside, multiple test results, 12 minutes, and we give information not currently given by any other test platform. We can indicate which therapy will stop the bleeding. No other test on the market can do that. And no other test is in development to do that. Top of the slide, these are the risks of transfusion. A whole long list of them. There's actually a study in heart surgery showing a dose response curve. Each additional unit of blood shortens a person's life. No, go back. Bottom, there are hundreds of research studies showing the complications of blood transfusion. I'm only highlighting one because this study has over 1 million patients in it. And people often say, well, of course, the person who got the blood is sicker. No, this study was one of the ones done really well where they had beautifully matched controls, meaning you have two patients, same disease state, same age, same state of health, same surgery. One got blood and one didn't. Of the patients who got blood, cost of hospitalization and length of hospital stay is longer, risk of an infection 90% greater, risk of death 70% greater. I consider death a very bad outcome. These are testimonials from key opinion leaders. Aryeh Shandor was labeled a hero in medicine by Time magazine for his work in bloodless medicine. He wrote that by testing therapies in advance of treatment, only the therapies proven to correct clotting would be administered. Dr. Spiess, a specific test to tell us how to treat the patient. Dr. Ness, Senior Director at Transfusion at Johns Hopkins. We'd have great interest using this at Johns Hopkins, and I believe other hospitals and their transfusion departments would share my enthusiasm. We also have an independent market research study. Okay, we're missing a slide that has, it's an independent market research survey and surveyed physicians who care for patients, cardiac surgeons, anesthesiologists, blood bank directors who made the same points as the key opinion leaders. One of them actually wrote that, it's exciting that such a thing even exists. We projected our sale price at $300 to $400 per cartridge. There was no pushback on that. And of note, hospitals get reimbursed mostly on a DRG basis. On average, they lose $800 each time they give a unit of blood. So it pays for the hospital to use this technology. This is an example of a fully automated result with our current prototype, which was used in a pilot study at the Mayo Clinic. This is laboratory data. We created a sample that's missing prothrombin factor 2. Rows 1 and 18 are the abnormal sample alone. Blue bar to the right, no blood clotting. Rows 2 and 9 through 17 all have treatments that are given to improve blood clotting. And despite that fact, none of them results in a clot because they're the wrong test. Everything in the green column is an effective therapy. So you see the results instantly. Next slide. The left is an algorithm. This is what's recommended now in the journals. Use 3 different tests and go through as many as 15 decisions. When you're an anesthesiologist caring for a bleeding patient, you don't have time to do that. We can go through our team at another time. You can read about it if you ask for materials. We're seeking $2.1 million. This will fund us through a Series A raise. Next slide. Projecting revenue in excess of $70 million in year 4 of sales. Next slide. Multiple additional intended uses after cardiac surgery. Next slide. Next slide. And these are potential acquirers. Acquisition is extremely common in this space. Thank you for your time.